Welcome back to 4 High Garage, where we're just kind of okay-ish. Today, we're kind of diving into the XJ's motor. I kind of wanted to do a walkthrough on the intake and exhaust manifold, removal and install. This isn't quite a how-to, but more of a let me get in there so you can kind of see where the bolts are, how everything lines up. A couple of tips I picked up on other YouTubers' channels, and it's pretty simple, just time consuming. Currently, the motor and transmission are on this pallet because if you watch my other videos, I was installing it into a non-running Jeep out of a donor Jeep, and while I have it out, I might as well do this. This is just easier to do on an engine stand or like this makeshift pallet thing I made. You can do it in the Jeep, no problem. It's just a little bit easier, and definitely easier for me to film it when it's out of the Jeep. So that's the real benefit to this, is that I can film it. All right, let's get at it. Okay, step one is to just undo this. Just kind of had everything kind of up and out of the way while I was lifting it out of the Jeep. It should just drop right in, since they're both 1999 XJs. One's a two-wheel drive and this is obviously four-wheel drive, so figured, well, if we're doing a motor and transmission swap, we might as well also make it a four-wheel drive. Doesn't seem like it's that much more work, although I've not ever converted before. So, okay. All that's pretty much out of the way-ish. At this point, we kind of need to move the fuel rails, kind of get some stuff out of the way so we can get to the bolts back here just a little bit easier. You could probably do it without taking all this stuff off with like an open-end wrench or something. Huh. Look at how much room is in this. So if I disconnect, kind of looks like if I disconnect the wire harness, may not even have to do that. Just get an open-end wrench down there. Maybe I pull the bracket, this bracket, and that's really maybe it. No, I got to pull it off anyways, because I could leave the injectors and rail in it, though. All right, let me think about this real quick. All right, step one, show you how this clip on the fuel injector works. That is a lock, and you slide it back, and then you can push down, and it'll move, like right there. It'll move that clip up. This one, it died. These get hot and brittle, so if the clip part there kind of breaks, I don't know if you can see that, but I can't push down on it anymore because it's broken right across there. You can get a hook underneath and just kind of just get underneath that to unhook it off of the injector, and it'll come right off. Okay. All right. I think before I get too far, I'll go ahead and pull this whole bracket out of the way, and it is 2 10 millimeters. And just swing that guy out of the way. And then I like to put the bolts just temporarily back where they came out of. All right, back to pulling injectors. Just okay, got all the injectors off, got all the other sensors disconnected, and this wiring harness rail just slides down. It kind of, you got to put some effort into pulling it up, but it kind of clips into the threads of the head studs. And hopefully I can just fish this out of here like that. And I'm caught over here. What am I caught on? Let's get this guy off to the side. There we go. All right, let me pull that off so I can disconnect the bracket for the crank sensor. Looks like it's also 10 millimeter. There we go. Just load that over there. Put that back. Okay. Okay. We've got 5 bolts across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 across the bottom. There's 1, 2. Talked about using light. See number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, and then at the end, 6. They're all 14 millimeter, and I think I'm going to tackle the bottom ones first, and then see if I can't use a ratcheting wrench across the top. All right, get to it. Oh, and leave these last 2, 1 on each end, last. That only holds on the exhaust manifold. That way you can take off the intake and then worry about the exhaust. It's not all falling off on you at the same time. All right, on these middle ones that are kind of tucked up underneath the intake, a shallow socket and a wobbler shaft is what seems to be going to get it. There we go. Let's go. Okay, these top ones I'm going to see how much I can get away with on a socket. Okay. Maybe I can get most of them. So far, so good. Oh yeah, I forgot that middle one doesn't hold up the intake. Oops. Okay, so I guess you could have pulled these end ones off since that middle one. Okay. Try to get it out of there. Just roll it back on, a couple threads. Give it a couple of wiggles. Come on. Apparently, my hand strength isn't what it used to be. Come on, let go. I don't ever like to throw the sockets on the ground because that shoots the nut across the damn shop and you'll never see it again. Well, crying out loud. Okay, gonna have to take it off, stick it in the vise, stick something down that and knock it out. All right, these are 14 millimeter, but if you got a little corrosion like that one does or some boogery on it, the 9/16 is a good, just a hair step up. Whew. Smoke came off that puppy. Woo! That's toasty. All right, so last one. All right. Should come right off those studs. Of course, that one might need some persuasion. It's got a bit of corrosion that washer doesn't want to come off. It's just me being lazy and not getting up and getting a hammer or something. Because really anything can be a hammer if you want it to be, like they say. All right, got the washer off. A little shock and awe. Nope. Yep, yeah, look at all that corrosion in there. Yeah, we don't want to snap that stud or bend it. Just plan on reusing it. So, gotta play nice. Little looby-doob. Aha! There it goes. Nope. You guys tried to dive right into it. Oh, it's still full of corrosion. At least we're replacing the exhaust manifold. Let's see if we can walk her off. Oh, God. Yeah. There it comes. There we go. Whew, okay. Got it off. Pull this guy off. There we go. Tiki tiki. Yuck. In the bin. All right. Next step, clean everything up and install. All right, surface cleaned up. Like to blow everything out. Woo. Made a mess.
The next day.
Quickie jobs never end up being quickie for me. I don't know why. But my recommendation to anyone that's working on automotive parts, especially stuff that gets a little bit of rusty, is when you start to see this kind of deterioration in a bolt. It should be threaded all the way to the end. And I don't know if that's showing up on camera or not, but right back here where the washer sits, it's just eaten away. The rust is eating all the threads away. It's probably still workable, but this bolt's not long for life. And my recommendation is anytime you see that any kind of deterioration in the bolt or nut due to rust, you just chuck it and you go get yourself some new hardware. Ran down to my local Ace Hardware, found exact replacement. This is 1 1/4. Well, now I don't remember the thread. 3/8 by 16 is the thread pitch, and the nut is 3/8 by 24 that goes on the stud. So I just went ahead and picked up new hardware. It was about $10. It's worth it. Anytime there's a slight possibility you might be back in to working on this, you might as well not risk snapping a bolt off in the head. Okay, now let's get to the install. Felpro gasket's the name of the game. Apparently, this is really the only one you want to get. Probably shouldn't be doing this one-handed. Oh, it is part number 93094. This is for 99 Cherokee. I think the older models do have a slightly different gasket, so keep that in mind. There's a logo, but no other markings on this, so and it looks like it'll go either way. So there's no front to back as far as I can tell. There she be. Okay, let's get to hanging stuff. Okay, so this is interesting. There's like an 1/8 inch lip of that gasket on the exhaust ports. It's weird. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to cut that out or anything. I'm not building a high performance engine or anything. And if it's restrictive, it'll end up blowing it out. So I'm just going to leave that in. It's just interesting observation, I guess. I'm going to flip it around, see if it'll fit a little more smoothly. It wants to kind of, it's got like a curve to it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And then I took a second to put some anti-seize on all the bolts and the studs. All right. First thing I'm going to do is hang the exhaust on the studs, like so. And then the center bolt doesn't hook to the intake, so we'll get it kind of just finger tight, and then we'll get the ends here finger tight as well. See, I can already see there's a bit of a warp to this thing. There's a gap down here, slight gap here, no gap, no gap. I'm not worried about it. There's enough flex in the steel that when I tighten everything down, it'll cinch it up. Okay, and the tech tip I saw, I guess thanks to Dex J, that's who I saw it from, is to install these guys Well, that's not installing. But to get him started, just a turn. And that'll be enough room for the intake to slide down past the stud and still get on the right side of the washer. And we're doing half a turn, I don't know, the very minimal to get it to kind of bite. All right, let's try, see if that'll, need both my hands for this. Let's see if that camera angle will come through. Good on that one. Can't tell on this one. Okay. I think I'm good. I'm gonna stick, oh, I'm not good. I need some light in there. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. All right, I think it's good enough. I can get some of these top bolts just started. Okay, it's hanging by one bolt there. Okay, top ones are all just finger tight so that it's kind of held into place. And these bottom ones, I still need to kind of finger tighten them down. And my understanding is that you want to make sure everything is flush. So finger tighten everything down, make sure the dowel alignment pins are through the holes of the intake. If you're off a little and it's sitting on top of that dowel instead of in its proper place, then when you go to tighten down, you'll just break that ear off or a chunk of the intake off, and you're looking at trying to track down a whole new intake. So be real careful about that. And it's going to be tough inside the Jeep. Personally, this is why I'm doing it outside of the Jeep, but I also enjoy shooting videos on it. So we'll get everything finger tightened down and then we'll start torquing stuff down. Okay, now that we've got it all finger tight, there's no wobble in the intake. Everything's lined up good. My dowels are lined up correctly. Everything's in place. I can start torquing it down. I will share this torque sequence in a bigger picture right here. And then you follow that sequence and it's a whopping, they've got 24 and 23 foot-pounds. I'm just doing 24 on all of them. That 1 foot-pound's not going to make enough of a difference. And unfortunately, some of these upper ones, I mean, I'd have to get a swivel on the end of that in order to get, and once you put a swivel, I mean, I'm losing probably a foot-pound in just the extensions, maybe 2 with the swivel. I mean, at that point, you're not getting a good calculation of how many foot-pounds you're going to be putting on it. So, yeah, I'm just going to torque what I can reach, and then based on the feel of those, I will just wrench the top ones to about the same. And it should be good. Don't do what I do, kids. Follow the instructions. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this quick and easy intake exhaust manifold gasket replacement. At this point, just doing reverse of the wiring is all that you got to do, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.